Hello there, and welcome back to Vintage Story. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We haven't done much with Culinary Expanded this playthrough so far, so we're going to fix that here. I'm heating up 2 ingots of copper, 2.5 ingots of copper, and we're going to be putting that into a small cauldron mold that I just made. This takes about 40 clumps of clay to make. You gotta fire it in a pit kiln. And now we can use this to start making broth, which we could then use to make things like gelatin, which is very useful for food, especially fruit bread. Not that we have the ability to really make bread, I'm almost completely out of grain. But we can also use it to make broth, which we can then use in soups. So that's what we're going to be doing here. We just need to wait for the copper to finish heating up, pour it into the mold, wait for that to cool, and then we can make soup. Also went out and found some pear cuttings. Found a pear tree, which I could cut. I'll show you that clip in a minute. So we are going to go outside. And while I don't exactly... Well, I'm going to be building our main house in this area here, I think. So maybe I'm going to build a bridge this way. Maybe I'll put my orchard over here. And that way it's not in the way of anything. And it'll look nice. We will be building... I'm going to have to see how tall of a bridge I have to make for the boat to pass under it. But then we'll build an arched bridge over there, and let's plant these here. So, they have a 40% chance of surviving. That's not great. I did not mean to put that one there. Okay, well, it's there now. So yeah, they have a 40% chance of surviving. And they take a little while to grow. You need a cold winter for them to bear fruit. So, I mean, we just technically started winter about a day or two ago in game. So we do have, we've got the cold winter part covered. Minus 15 Celsius outside. But it is going to take them the better part of a year to grow. We do have some wild fruit trees around us. We got a pear tree there. We got a pear tree back there, which is where I got the cuttings from. I'm keeping an eye out for apple trees. I think I saw one to the south somewhere. Doesn't matter. So we're going to try putting together an orchard too. All right, grab our copper, pour it in, and there we go. Once that cools, we will have a cauldron, and we can make soup and other useful things. Finally found a tree, a fruit tree, that has branches. So we can chop off one of these branches. Well, we can chop off a few of them, get a cutting, and use that to start our own orchard. I'll get a few of these. They only have like a 40% chance to survive. So you're going to want a few of them if you are going to be building your own orchard. So with these 4, maybe 2 will survive. Alright, so first, put the cauldron on the fire pit. We want to put 20 liters of water in and 20 bones, and this will allow us to make 20 portions of bone broth. This is useful, obviously, because you can use it in your soup, but you can then also make clarified bone broth by including egg whites, or alternatively, if you cook the bone broth again with bones, you get pre-gelatin, which we can use to make gelatin, which we could then use to make fruit gelatin, which when included in foods not only gives fruit, but also heals HP. So that's very good. And what I liked doing last year was including it in my bread. You do the bread, you do fruit gelatin, you do some fruit, and I think I did honey, and that will heal you for quite a bit and also satisfy a lot of your food needs all at once. So that's going to be the plan for the future. Obviously, we don't, like I said, we're pretty much out of grain, so I can't really be making bread right now. but we can start making the bone broth, and then once we have the bone broth, we can make soup. Now, the really cool thing about these cauldrons, and this is a small cauldron, you can make a large cauldron too. I think it takes 5 ingots and holds twice as much as the small cauldron. Once we make something with the cauldron, we can put the cauldron down on the ground, and by shift clicking it, right clicking it, we can seal it. And then whatever's cooked in the cauldron, in this case broth, will stay preserved for quite a while. But while this is cooking, I'm going to go grab some meat and some veggies. Yeah, see, we're pretty much out of grain, so it does mean no good whatsoever. Alright, so this now has 10 liters of bone broth in it. And see, it's good for 15 years. And if we shift and control click, it seals and it's good for 20 years. We don't need 20 years worth of soup. But we can then grab our bucket, put 6 liters in. We can then put our veggies. Yep. There we go. So we've got bone broth, chopped onions, bushmeat, and chopped turnips, and this will cook into 6 portions of soup. The bone broth does give you protein, and yeah, so it's just veggies and protein, so it's, you know, not a very balanced meal, but it does help you. It helps you expand your food stocks, and gives you a use for bones. I'll put what's left in there, sealed up. And when it's sealed, you can pick it up and you won't lose its inventory. And there we go. Soup is done. As I said, not terrific on the nutrition. 295 protein and 300 vegetables. But it does heal you for 1 HP per serving. So if you have damage, you can eat 1 portion and it will heal your HP. I have more HP than my max HP because I guess all my nutrition has been dropping since I've run out of grain, and yeah. Oh well. So we've got all of the soup, and we can go down into our cellar, store it in here for a few more days. There we go. That's soup. Pretty simple. Like I said, I'll be making gelatin in the future because it is, once you combine it with fruit, very good for adding as a fruit alternative for pies, for bread, all that thing, all those different food items, and it heals you. Okay, so I hopped into a creative test world here quickly because I mentioned I want to test how high I need to make the bridge for the boat to fit underneath it, right? So if we get out of the boat, we can see I've made a little thing only 3 blocks tall. You would think, nah, we can't pass the boat under that. Oh, well, the mast has no hitbox, so we can. That doesn't mean I want to, so let's back this up a bit. And by the way, the controls with the boat are very easy. A to turn to our left, D to turn to our right, S moves the boat back, and W moves the boat forward. So yeah, quite easy. Okay, so the mast has no hitbox. We can sail right through the block. But if we want the bridge to clear the mast, the flag is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks tall, meaning we would need an arch that is at least 8 blocks tall for the boat to pass under and not look like it's clipping. And we would need the area to be, well, it does clip there, so we would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 8 blocks wide for it to be able to pass through and not clip at all. I think 8 would just be easy, so 8 by 8. That's what we need to build the bridge to look like. So that's a kind of a very steep gradient for the river by our base. Alternatively, we could use the chisel, the QP chisel tools mod and make a drawbridge. It won't actually be a drawbridge, but we'll be able to turn it into a door, which we could then open like a drawbridge, which I think I like the idea of better. So I think we're going to go with that. You might remember this place. It's the archive. I came here to collect some of the stuff we left behind. I tell you, having the elk makes getting down here much easier. It took me almost a full day of riding, whereas walking took me almost 3 days. But I'm just picking up the ashlar blocks, and I forgot that this was here. If we remove the ashlar blocks, we can come down here into a hidden storage room. Don't remember if there's anything really worth getting in here. There's a ruined translocator, which we cannot repair. 8 acorns. 16 dry grass. That really does us no good whatsoever. Metal scrap. That's actually could be useful. Not right now. That's empty. 1 stick. 21 dry grass. No, that's really all that useful. That's got nothing. And this chest has 2 Jonas bits and a piece of parchment. I don't have all that much inventory space. Oh, what should we take and what should we leave? Oh, you know, we can do that, that, and that. Okay. Problem solved. But yep. Came here to collect all the ashlar. We got all the ashlar that was down here, because we can use these to make some nice looking bricks, which I want to use for the bridge we're going to be building. However, the only way to get ashlar blocks is you have to make a polished slab, and the way you get a polished slab is by getting a polished stone, which you need a chisel and a hammer to turn into slabs. And you get the polished stone by chiseling and hammering a granite block, and the granite we have to get by quarrying, which isn't all that difficult, but I did want to try to save a bit of time and effort. I was just thinking we have to jump back into water, so let's actually swap over to the oil lamp, because that won't go out when we hop in the water in a moment. Anyway, yep, just came here to collect some stuff. Filled up my inventory, and now hopefully we have a safe trip home. Well, I mentioned last episode I updated some mods. I didn't add any mods, I didn't change anything, I just updated them. But apparently it affected world gen. So now we have what equates to a gen error in our world. So let's just say that that's the effects of the Rust world and forget about it. It would have been better if this happened out in the middle of the ocean where you wouldn't notice. Oh no, it cut a structure in half. There's a structure there too. You know what? It may have been the update to better ruins, because there's ruins generating here, and I'm willing to bet that's the mod change that affected this. So no, they introduced more ruins, which is nice. But yeah, oh well. It's nowhere close to our home, so we're not going to see it often to worry about it. Now, to make those ashlar bricks, we're going to need, to make these, the ashlar blocks, we're going to need mortar. The way you make mortar is you put sand in slack lime, and you get 8 mortar per slack lime. The way you make slack lime is you combine water with quicklime, and you get quicklime by baking off 2 bits of lime. So that's what we're doing here. We are heating up lime. Needs to hit 825 degrees before it cooks. 2 lime becomes 1 quicklime, and we're going to cook up 8 of these so we can make 8 liters of slackline, which will allow us to make 64 mortar. However, you notice as soon as this finished filling up, it started from scratch again. So that's one of the downsides. There is a mod that fixes that. I believe it's the Better Fire Pit mod. I'm not using it, obviously, but yeah, it does cook quick, but once it fully cooks, it resets the temperature. Anyway, as you can see, temporal storm approaching, so I'm gonna just hold out in here and make some slack lime and mortar. Sorry if today's episode feels a little disjointed. You would think after running a 17k yesterday, I would have gotten a good night's sleep. You think that, but you'd be wrong. Anyway, we're going to do a bit of a proof of concept here. So I've got a rammed dirt bridge for now. This is obviously not staying. I just wanted to get a shape out and start the process of figuring out how I want to do a drawbridge. Of course, we also have all this snow now we got to deal with. By the way, did you know you can throw snowballs? So if we're going to do a drawbridge, we can use... If we put down some slabs here, we can take the pantograph and we can assign it a door texture, open and closed models. I haven't tested if I can walk on a door though. So we're going to try that right now. So let's do that and then that. So obviously it's going to be very, very basic. We're going to go to okay, so that's the closed door. We can walk on that. We can. And then we're going to do open door model. Oh, well, at least it gives us a nice design. Is this is not going to do what I want it to do, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't work the way I wanted it to. I'm not going to have to go back to the drawing board. What I was hoping I could do is... Okay, I could do something. If I break this, these are worthless for me now. Okay, how about this? We're going to try something again, similar. We have that there. Then we have this going back up. Right? Okay, so we're going to have sign closed door model. Right, okay. So that's the closed door. And then we're going to do a connect door texture to that. So that's what it looks like when it's closed. And when it's open, it disappears. It's invisible. All right, so that's in its close. That's what it looks like closed. And then what I'm going to want to do is I want when this is closed, it to be vanished. It to have no texture, right? So I want assign open door model. It does that when it's closed. Oh, right. Okay. We can do this. If we put that down, we grab our planer. We can shave it down till it's one voxel. Okay, till there's no voxels. We're going to copy that as closed. So copy that as closed and place that there. Okay, that didn't work. So then instead, we want to chisel away all of this until it's just a sliver, right? Okay, and then go back to this. We can move that. We can remove that. Remove that. And that. Okay. And now if we grab that, apply that there. No. Okay, kind of. And then if we do this again as one door texture, they're out of sync. There we go. Okay, so when it's open, it can look like that. And when it's closed, it will look like that. And then what I can do is I'll have like a support over here. And I'll just have these little things built into the support on the side so that you don't see them when they're open. But when they're closed, they become a wall. I think that'll work. And then we can walk through that when it's open, no problem. And when it's closed, we can stand on top of the bridge so that we can fall off the bridge. So we can use the bridge as a bridge when it's open, or when the drawbridge is closed. I guess technically the bridge is, I need to make the bridge wider apparently. And then when the drawbridge is open, the boat can pass under and it won't look like it's clipping through the wood. Yes. Okay, quick update. I'm going to split the bridge into 2 halves. It's 10 blocks wide. So this middle row here, this side will lift that way, and this side will lift that way. When it does, this row here will transform into this bottom row here. And I've already been messing around with it in a creative world to figure out how exactly I'm going to do it. I'm going to have the bridge staggered into technically 4 doors. No, I think I can do it with 2 doors. The way it's going to work is this all here will be the closed state, so you can walk across it. And when it triggers to the open state, this will all be invisible, and you'll be able to pass through it, or if you try walking over it, you'll fall to, well, the snow below, but later eventually the river also. So that's the walkover part bridge. When the bridge is open, so when you cannot walk across this here, which will be, 5 blocks tall, done in this pattern, will be closed. So I'm going to have them inverted. When this bridge is down, this will be open and this will be closed. And when this part is up, this will be closed, and that... I literally just confused myself as I'm trying to explain it. When this is closed, you can walk across it. This will be open, you can walk through it. When this is open and you'd fall through it, this will be closed and it will block your path. I think that explains it. You'll see it much better once I've actually done it. To actually do this, I'm going to have to create 2 buttons essentially. I can either step on the buttons or they can be a block I can interact with on the railing. And that will pretty much tell one part of the bridge to open and the other part of the bridge to close. And that's going to be mirrored on the other side. I'm going to have a button on either side, but if I do that, no, that should work. I should be able to have a button on either side. Okay, I need to go collect a bit more resources because I'm essentially building 2 bridges, so I'm using quite a lot of resources to get this done. Okay, we should be ready now to test the first half of this. It's kind of daunting. I don't want to make a mistake, so I'm like taking a moment to make sure I've got everything figured out before I get started. I want to set these back up so I have my templates for the corners, or about for the sides. Right? Okay. Go to this, grab, close door. We want to apply it to all of those. So those are going to be closed. Grab that. Do that here also. So now each of those has the closed state. Okay. Grab that. Do that here. Grab that. Do that there. Then I need to do, because I didn't do it. So let's put that down. Rotate that twice. Chill that down. Okay. And this is going to be closed. And that applies to the middle 3 rows. Okay. So now everything should say closed on it. Yes. Next, we go to this plank here. It's a slab. Want to assign closed door model, apply that, and assign open door model. So if we click it, open and close, it does not change at all. Next, go back to door, connect door texture. We want to click that one, and then we want to click on these 35 individual blocks. Too many blocks selected for the door. Oh, okay. So then I guess that means that our bridge can only be 4 wide. Either that, or we just, you know what? I'll do it as 3 segments instead of 2 segments. Okay, so we do that. We click the left mouse button. So you heard that sound effect. Now if I click that, we get a lag spike. Okay, well, now the door has disappeared. We can move through it. And if we click, it does not like hovering over that block. I see a problem. It's toggling so fast. There we go. Open. Closed. All right, so that opens the bridge. Or at least that makes this part disappear. I mean, we've got it working theoretically, but I don't like how much that lags just hovering over it. Especially considering it's really just a gimmick. Okay, well, let's continue on. Next, we're going to want these to all be marked as being closed. So we're going to do the same thing we just did. Assign closed model. We'll take these pictures here. This is much easier since they're already in the correct location. Now they should all be done. And if I didn't trap myself on that side of the bridge, I'd be able to do the next part. All right, get back over here. We want the second platform. Assign closed. Assign open. Link. Go and do the same thing. Okay, so now they are all signed. Which means we go back over here. We click that one. And it did not take. Probably because I didn't click the right block. There you go. Now this is a control block. If I click that and it opens, there we go. The bridge disappears. And if we click that one, the drawbridge is open. Which means we need to make 1/3 one, which is just going to be controlling the corner here. And I'm going to have to do likewise for the other side too. So the plan was that one block would control both sides in the up position and one block would control both sides in the down position. That's not going to be possible. We're going to need 3 to control the bridge up, bridge down, and the connection point here. And then we're going to need 3 to do the exact same on the other side also. And I'm probably going to need to include the triggers for them on both sides. So you can trigger the bridge open from one side and close from both, well, open from both sides and close from both sides. Okay, well, I've got a bit more figuring out to get done, but we've got progress. I'm liking this. I just don't like the lag spike, but we are manipulating a lot of blocks all at once. So, you know, what are you going to do about it? Until next time, though, thank you for joining me today. I hope you've had a wonderful day. I want to thank my channel members for your support, and I will see you next time. Later.